Hello everyone, this is Mr. Appel, and I'm going to show you how to solve this inequality involving a radical. The first thing we have to worry about with a problem like this is the domain. And what I mean by that is, in our solution, in our search for x values that satisfy this inequality, we have to watch out for x values that would give us imaginary numbers. In other words, x values that would give us the square root of a negative. We're only interested in these problems, we're only interested in real solutions. And so we need to make sure we don't get any imaginary or fake solutions. So before we solve the inequality, we want to determine the domain, the x values that actually give us real numbers. And so the way to do that is to find x values, determine what all the x values are that keep what's underneath the radical non-negative. Right? We don't want a negative under there. So we want the thing that's under the radical, in this case, the x plus 5, to be non-negative, which means it needs to be greater than or equal to 0. That's going to determine our domain. Pretty easy to solve that, just subtract the 5, and so x must be greater than or equal to negative 5. So now we're going to go ahead and actually solve the problem. So that was our first step. Second step is to actually solve it. I'm just going to move this over here. And we solve this the same way we'd solve an equation. We're going to isolate the radical by adding the 6 to both sides. And then we're going to go ahead and square both sides to get rid of the radical. So we have x plus 5 less than or equal to 400. And in this case, that's a pretty straightforward solution. Subtract the 5. X is less than or equal to 395. And so now our solution to the inequality itself is this. However, like I said before, we also have to watch out for the domain. So the only x values that actually work are ones that make the inequality true without giving us an imaginary number. And so what we recommend and will often ask you to do is to sketch it on a number line. And you may remember when solving compound inequalities, we would look for the overlap. So this one, the x greater than or equal to negative 5, that's negative 5 and everything to the right of it. And then the less than or equal to 395, that's 395 and everything to the left of it. We're interested only in the x values that satisfy both of those things, which is the overlap. So that's all the numbers between negative 5 and 395. And so that is our actual solution, which we will then write in interval notation. It's all the numbers from negative 5 to 395. Because it's or equal, it's including the endpoints. Whoops. And so we're using a square bracket. And that's our final solution. That's all for now. Thanks.